didn't know anybody in New York. I found this woman on Craigslist in Manhattan Beach that needed a live-in housekeeper. I didn't know that was like her thing, to take in runaways. I didn't know. And then she treated me like shit. It was awful. Oh my God, it was weird. I never been treated like that. So that was my introduction to New York.
And then you got some kind of a job. You had an internship. You told us a little bit about
that was like, that was recent. That was October 2017. I was begging on the street, and this white lady in really nice clothing and her hair, she sat down next to me in white jeans, and I looked at her and I'm like, you're sitting in like weeks of dog piss. I didn't tell her that. And she handed me a 20 and she's like, what's your name? And I'm like, Lori? And she started talking to me. And then, I kind of told her my story or my goal. I don't remember what we talked about because I was in shock. And then she got up and was like, hey, she has to go to work. I'm just like, what the fuck just happened? So the next day, she came, sat down, gave me a 20, started talking to me. I was like, what do you want? And she's like, oh, no, I just want to talk to you. So Friday, she came down, sat next to me, started talking to me, gave me 20. And then she told me, finally, that she has an internship she can give me. And I was like, oh, okay. So then I did that. And then she told me that, she said lots of interns, but when she saw me, like, she felt like she wanted to give it to someone who, like, needed it or whatever. So
what did you have to do for it?
What do you mean? Like, what was the internship?
Yeah.
It was in the garment district, so it was for this huge apparel company. They owned like Tommy Hilfiger, they owned Karl Lagerfeld. So it's in this office building, and she happened to be in charge of the design team for the sports division. So she was over the designers, and but like she didn't really have the means to supervise me, so she put me under her best friend / roommate, who was a manager under her, who did like something called the hot market. Do you know what that is? In fashion, the hot market is clothes that are made in America. They're simple designs and they're made fast and shipped fast, okay? She was in charge of that. So I was under her. So she was, you ever seen the movie Horrible Bosses? She was literally like that, except for like the physical, like violations or whatever. She was horrible. She made fun of my weight, my intelligence. Everything I said was wrong because I was an intern and she knows more because she's twice my age. She challenged everything I said. It was weird. It was a very weird dynamic.
How long were you with her in that internship?
Well, I was in that internship for 1.5 years, but with her, a year.
And then what happened next?
I got put with a different manager in a different department in sales. I didn't really know anything about sales, and I don't know, it was just towards the end, I realized like this is not gonna lead to anywhere, I spent a year working in design for them to throw me into sales where I know nothing about, which means I'm gonna have to spend another year as an intern in sales. And it was like, I don't know, like mentally it just kind of like really just kind of destroyed me towards the end of it. Wow. And then, so long story short, the woman who gave me the internship ended up getting fired for budget cuts, and her and a couple other people, which then pissed off her best friend, which was my manager. She took that out on me for months, and she had a vendetta against the company, so she quit. And then I never heard from them. They moved out of state.
Were you able to save any money?
I was. And then the place I was staying at in the Upper West Side, my lease was up in December, and I didn't like living there. It was infested with roaches, and these people were Dominican, and they didn't want me using the kitchen, even though they allowed me to, but they preferred I didn't. So every time they saw me using the kitchen, it was like, I guess, a reminder that they're uncomfortable in their own home or something. And so they did not want to go ahead with renewing the release, and I was like, great. So, but then that created a challenge in trying to figure out where the hell am I gonna live. So in an effort to start over, I sold all my furniture I purchased, my IKEA furniture. I sold my TV, my 40-inch smart TV. I sold my PlayStation. I sold everything because I can't take that stuff with me. Like, I don't have a place picked out yet, right? So I ended up staying like a motel, like a hotel. Oh, because my new boss, right? She was really nice. Shared my situation. She paid for me staying in a hotel. And then while I was there, still looking for a place to live, her brother who has Down syndrome died. So I didn't hear from her again. And the last time I spoke to her, she said she would let my boss know. So because I didn't come back from Christmas break, so I wasn't there like the first couple weeks of January because I had nowhere to live, and it was just like, I don't know, I really needed a break. I took a break for myself. So, because I was contemplating, do I want to go back? Because it was just like such a horrible environment and situation. And long story short, I ended up getting an Airbnb, and then I found a place, and then that couple was worse than the first couple, and that didn't work out. I was only there a couple months. Then was in another Airbnb for 2 weeks, but he didn't want me to stay there past 2 weeks. He, you know, because I told him I'd give him more money if I just need more time, right? He's like, no, 2 weeks, we agree. And I'm like, all right, fine. So then, so I finally found a place on the Upper West Side near, you know, where the same train I took. And they took dogs. And I was like, the first place that I can afford that takes dogs is near the train where I work. I was like, this is perfect. $1,000 it is. So I did that, and I got Oreo the next day. Like, I moved in, I went to work the next day. Like, I moved in that night, and then that next day I went to work, and after work, when everyone left, I was looking online on Craigslist for dogs, and I found him. That night, I went and met the guy, and
That's how you met him?
yes. Mm-hmm. A lot of interesting stories happened that way. I got Oreo that night. That's how desperate I was for a dog, for companionship.
Have you ever, as an adult, received government aid, or even now, are you receiving any?
Oh, hell yeah, like, yes. From the time that I was 18 in Los Angeles, I was on food stamps. But their food stamp program back then was horrible. No wonder there was no help.
And now?
Yeah,
Here
yes,
in New
yes.
York,
Yeah.
You receive food stamps?
Yep.
What else?
Medicaid. Yes, definitely Medicaid. And there's the cash assistance, which means that back to work program, or I don't know what they renamed it, which means that they'll give you, I don't even know how much money, because I did that when I first came to New York, but it was $22 they gave me. Yeah,
or a week,
a
or
month. And then the food stamps, which was like, back then it was like 200 or whatever. I think it was like 221, I'm sure. It was a little more. That was like 7 years ago. So I guess in my mind, I always associate the cash program as like a very small amount of money. But I think it's more now. But either way, that would require me to attend a program. Like I just got out of jail or something. You have to go to get the cash. And
Are you still getting it?
no, we all know cash is not a problem. Like, if I could get more than $22, like, and not have to go to a stupid program, right? So, you know, like, because I've established to you guys, I'm not looking for employment. I'm looking to live a certain lifestyle, so I don't be chained down to a job. Like, trust me, I just got out of that, right? It taught me a lot about life. Like, I had a mental breakdown because of a job. So, yeah, I am on assistance, absolutely.
Whether you make any money now, whether you get any money for anything you're doing besides sort of panhandling, do you get money for in other ways?
No, I don't. I mean, this may sound bad, but I mean, like, besides, I don't know, being like a sugar baby, I guess, or a person who has sex with one person who's rich. Other than that, or I guess multiple people, I don't know. And panhandling's like the only way to get money for free and like do nothing. Not to say that, I mean, I don't feel like I'm taking advantage of people, because I do need the help. But it's like really the only way to get money and like not have to really like do anything. Meaning not have to degrade yourself or break the law or risk, you know, going to jail, or like, you know what I'm saying? Or yeah, you get to just kind of like be like, hey, I need help, help me, yes or no, right? instead of being like, I need help, so I'm gonna go rob this person so that I can, you know what I'm saying? I mean, for me personally, I tried to do it by society's, you know, standards, get a job. And when I was young, I thought I could be picky about what I did, but as I got older, I realized, you know, that's not how the world works. So I did jobs that I did not like because they paid me to do it. I was a cashier at dollar stores, at Family Dollar, Dollar Tree, Dollar General, and you know, I hated that, but I did it because it was a job. I was a home health aide for 2 years. I hate every minute of it. I do love animals, but I don't love animals enough to be employed by a company that works with animals.
That's the difference, is the lifestyle.
That's it, and people are missing that. I don't want to be chained down to the zoo. The zoo is awesome, and I probably would enjoy working there to some degree, but I don't know, I'm just in a place or in a mindset in my life where I just want to do what I want to do. I don't want you telling me what to do, you know? So when I came to New York, I think I told you about the first man I was with, and he lived in the projects, and okay, I was in a shelter, he worked at the shelter, and he hit on me, and I was 21, I was vulnerable, and he seduced me, and I went to live with him in the projects, and he just got out of prison for selling drugs, and it's just like, I don't know how I find myself in that situation.
Can you tell us the difference between a drop-in shelter, a shelter, and a safe haven?
Actually, I can. A drop-in is literally a drop-in. Like, they're open a certain amount of hours, usually like, I don't know, 6 to like 10 at night or something, maybe earlier. Yeah, because you drop in, you charge your phone, you get something to eat, you take a shower, you do a load of laundry, and you leave. Okay. There are a few 24-hour drop-ins, which consist of a big comfy chair, and you know, make it through the night like this.
So a drop-in, you're not sleeping?
No, it's not the intention, no.
Okay.
There may be a setup where you may have like a couch where maybe you catch a nap, something, or a couple couches. A shelter is a place designed to provide you with shelter until you find housing outside of the shelter system. I have a lot of experience with the New York City shelter system. There's an intake shelter you go to based on your profile that you build with a caseworker. They send you to an appropriate shelter. And then there's shelters that are outside of the city. They're like private organizations or Christian based or whatever, and they have their own rules and standards, but from when I looked into it, they're extremely short term, like 30 days, 16 days, 15 days, very short term. And they're like, some of them you have to take all your stuff with you, and like, it's different. It's not, I wouldn't say it's as good. I know city shelters get a bad rep, but like, they give you a lock and a locker, you know?
And the safe haven?
And a safe haven, I think a safe haven is like for a specific group of people, domestic violence or, right, or youth runaways, right? A safe haven is not for a specific, a targeted group of people, right? A place of refuge or security, I mean, obviously. A temporary refuge given to persecuted person or group. Yeah, I mean, I was a little out, but yeah, a specific group. Yeah, refugees.
Okay.
You live in the hood, in the ghetto, and everyone's dying, and there's a safe haven, you know, 3 blocks away.
So the guy you were living with in the project...
Or like a druggies, a place for druggies to go and, or something, right, huh?
So the guy you were living with in the projects, he was beating you?
Yeah, well, his father lived there. It was his place, and then his uncle lived there because he had just, you know, I guess he separated from his wife, and of course his brother took him in, and he just never left. He just kind of made his home in the living room, so that was his place. The father had the room, and then we slept on, we slept on an air mattress under the dining room table. Yeah. But he was using me for money. He didn't really care about me. It was just like, he just got out of prison. He was just like, he didn't learn anything. So he was trying to like get into like selling weed and like, you know, I guess be a drug dealer or whatever. And I was so like innocent and blind that I was trying to help him accomplish his goal. But looking back, I learned that like, he didn't know what the hell he was doing, really. He was 21 when he got locked up. He was a baby selling drugs for someone else. He didn't know what he was doing.
How old was he when you were with him?
31. He spent 10 years in prison. So think about it. Like, he got locked up a baby and came out a baby. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So he was trying to get his own little drug thing going on. But for somebody who did 10 years of prison for drugs, wouldn't you know that your neighborhood, the projects, that whole neighborhood was ran by a different drug dealer. Everybody went to that drug dealer for their drugs. So you're trying to establish yourself in the same area. I just thought that was like an obvious no-no.
And they're gonna kick his ass.
Or yeah, like, or no one's gonna go to you, because why would they go to you when they have him and you're in the same neighborhood? It doesn't make sense. He went through a mutual friend of the other drug dealer to buy weed from the drug dealer. So you're buying weed from this drug dealer to sell to the community. It's like weird, right? Like you're trying to sell his product, and it was weird. It was just like, it was weird. But anyways, he ended up not being able to sell anything, obviously, because they don't know you. They don't know your product or how good it is. They don't even know that it's really the other guy's product. So he started giving away the weed, and these were called dime bags, as you know. It's like $10 a bag. He's giving them away as like, oh, you remember I gave you that weed or whatever? Like, we're cool, right? And that was $500 for my laptop, right? And he bought weed, and he gave most of it away, and I never saw a penny from that. And yeah, and so then I started cleaning houses, and because that didn't work out. And then he ended up finding a nurse or whatever. She had her own place, and he went with her. And when they thought he would come back, beat me up and take my money from cleaning houses. And his father and uncle were too scared to get involved. And his uncle would hide my purse and his stuff. He had a couch that had like an opening, like a secret compartment. So when he came over, like, he would start threatening me and like, where's the money or whatever. He'd go through my purse and nothing was there. I didn't make any. And we would like, and then, you know, after he left, the uncle would give me my purse back. And in his own way, that was his way of helping. I remember that. And then, yeah, so then I went back to the shelter eventually, because I couldn't pay the dad really much. He wanted like $200 to stay there. It was just like ridiculous. So it was weird. And the guy was a drunk, and I just didn't want to be there. So I went back to the same homeless shelter, and guess who was working that night? Oh, I ran outside, and I was like crying, and I was like, oh no, I got this. So I went back in, and I was like, I got this.
What shelter was that again?
This was the BRC, Bowery Residency Commission, is who ran it, the organization. And it was called 85 Lex. 85 Lex is in Fort Greene. Long story short, I went to the manager and I told her that we had like a sexual relationship, and that I proved it to her by telling her about his tattoos, and she fired him on the spot. And then I talked to his uncle sometime in the future, and he told me that he destroyed the apartment, destroyed everything, was punching the walls because he lost his only income, because that nurse was done with him. I was done with him, and now he's broke again. So, do I think about the future? No, not anymore. I used to, when I was employed, and I had an office job, and I used to look out this little bit of the window, and I would see the sky and helicopters going by, and I used to think about the future a lot. Man, oh.